What's up, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. Today, as you can probably tell, I'm going to be talking about basketball. I've been getting a lot of questions lately asking me what my status update is as far as trying out for the WNBA, what leagues I may be playing in, what position I play, when I started playing. I think a lot of those questions come from the fact that I've been posting a lot of videos on TikTok and Instagram lately. Me on the court, shooting around, usually by myself. Unfortunately, there's a reason for that, and I'm going to explain that a little bit later in the video. But to start, I got my first basketball from my mom when I was around 5 or 6. I used to love watching it on TV all the time. She knew that, so she got me a ball. And that thing went with me everywhere. It's like my security blanket, my teddy bear. It went to bed with me at night. I was obsessed a little bit with the game. In the late 80s, early 90s, when the Pistons would play the Bulls, I'd watch that on TV, pretend I was in the game, take a little wad up piece of paper, throw it at the trash can in the corner, and act like I was hitting the game winner. So you can say that I really, really love the game. It's what I wanted to do. It's my passion. As I got a little bit older, the game became a little bit more. Junior high, high school, I started to struggle more and more with my gender identity. That led me to being an introvert, really struggling with knowing how to make friends and where I fit in. So instead of just being my passion, it became my distraction. And eventually it's what saved my life. The court was the one place I could find peace and solace from all the noise in my head. I dealt with a lot of depression, a lot of thoughts of suicide, because I didn't think anybody would ever understand how I felt or what I was going through. That led me to being on the court all the time. Really developed my game, which led me to want to play in high school. Unfortunately, my coach was a jerk, and he wanted me to play football. So he made a deal that if I played football, I could play basketball. Unfortunately, my mom was never going to let that happen. In 6th grade, I got knocked out playing football. Severe concussion, piece of bone missing right here, so there went that dream. But it ended up being a benefit to me. Started playing at the local rec center, played on some rec leagues. One summer in particular, I played with a group of guys that were former D1 players, former NBA players, guys who played overseas in pro leagues. They let me run with them, played almost every day. That's where I developed my game. Those guys taught me the ins and outs, the fundamentals, really worked on my vertical, my defense, everything about the game. And no one ever believes me, but this was actually the first time I dunked a ball too. So at the end of the summer, everybody was taking turns. I had really good defense that day, was really getting up on my vertical, grabbed the rim a few times. So they were taking turns dunking, and they said, go for it. Couldn't palm a ball like I can now. Of course, this is a smaller one. So I just kind of cupped it, ran, went and jumped, got the ball over the rim, which was a surprise, and I lost control of it because I couldn't palm it. And when I did and I grabbed the rim, the ball popped in the air, came back through the rim. So it went through, counted. I don't care who you are. I'm 5'8". That counts as a dunk. I was never able to do that again, but I was able to get a few tip dunks, as well as I could toss it off the backboard, catch it and dunk it. That didn't happen very often, but it did happen on occasion. Until college, when I blew out my knee and destroyed my left ankle. That was the next step for me, speaking of college. I wanted to play for my college team. I thought I could kind of get back on track and make it to where I want to be, considering I developed my game so much with these other guys. So I went and tried out, and I hate tryouts, by the way. I'm a team player. I'm a point guard. So what I do is break down defense, create shots for other people. Love to play defense as well. But in tryouts, you kind of have to be a one-man team. It's basically 1 versus 10, or 1 versus 9, all over the court. So I did what I did. Instead of being a showboat, I broke down the defense, I created shots for others, I played really good defense, had a few really good shots, decent tryout overall. The coach pulled me to the office after tryouts, and he was very blunt and honest with me. He said, look, I have one walk-on spot. I already knew who I was going to get. He's a local kid. I've been watching him for years. What brings you to this college? Is it just going to be basketball, or do you have other reasons? Well, I was going there for Christian Ministries. I was working at becoming a youth minister, so it didn't matter. Didn't need that scholarship. It was a walk-on. I wasn't going to get a scholarship anyway. So he said, well, try out next year. I'd love to have you on the team. I just don't have room this year. But fair enough, that's what I'll do. But then school started and I made friends, which I'd struggled with my whole life. We played intramural basketball, flag football, ultimate frisbee, softball. We were always busy and I was having so much fun. And we had a key to the gym. So that meant we could stay and play as long as we wanted to, for the most part. Dorm's closed at 2 a.m. So we would leave about 1:50, run back to the dorm, work on our papers that we're due the next day. So I got too busy to really care about playing on the college team. Plus they sucked, if I'm honest. The coach usually used a rotation of about 6 guys, a couple ball hogs. They didn't even score much usually. They just weren't good. Plus I started doing mission work during the spring and the summer. So I just decided I didn't have time. It wasn't going to be in the cards for me. And then in 2004, I got married. It was my senior year. And I decided I really don't want to work in a church. So I decided I needed to get a second degree. I would just get a degree in business so I'd have something else to fall back on. So that gave me 2 more years of college, which in hindsight was a big mistake because that's where all my student loan debt came from and it has done me no good whatsoever. Anyway, so those last 2 years of college, I really didn't play as much. I was married. I played intramural still, but I didn't play in the gym at night till 2 a.m. every morning. And then once we graduated in 2006, it was time to move on. I had to worry about the whole adulting thing and have a full-time job and make money for a potential family. So this got put on the shelf. And then for the next 6 years, 2006 to 2012, I was too busy. I maybe played full court basketball twice in those 6 years. And then in 2012, we got divorced. My transition began. So I no longer had time again. I was starting my life over. It was a chance to finally be myself and really learn who I am. And for me, that meant I wanted to be seen as the woman I am so badly. I was so worried about passing and feeling like people saw me for who I am. So sports just wasn't in the cards at that point. I felt like I had to have my nails done, learn makeup, wear cute outfits, and wear heels. And I enjoyed those things, but it's really not me. Like, this is me. And I really started to miss this. A few years into my transition, when I felt like I was finally being seen as who I am, and I had friends help me through, I started watching basketball again, pretty much all the time, which made me want to play. But I really didn't know anyone. So when I moved to Dallas, I found an apartment complex that had a basketball court. I would play after work, but when you do that by yourself, it kind of gets boring. I really wanted to play in games. And then I started going to Mavs games, connecting with people, really, really thinking, I want to play pro ball again. This is my dream. So I started looking to move to Los Angeles. The Sparks had an open tryout. I thought, that's it. That's what I'm going to go do. So I did. I made the move to Los Angeles. It was my idea. I was going to play in the WNBA for 2 reasons. One is I'm extremely passionate about the game. This is what I want to do for a career. But 2, it would give me a platform. That way I could educate people on who trans individuals are. Debunk these myths that we're the genetic cheat code to sport. So we've got all these advantages and we're just going to take over. Because it's not true. When I got to LA, I learned very quickly that it is stupid expensive to live out here. So that would require a full-time job to really cover all the expenses and bills, which left little time to actually work on my game. But when I did have time, I started making my way to the local parks to play pickup games. All guys, there was no other women there, but that was okay. That's what I was used to playing with. First few times it was great. Hadn't run full court in a long time, but I actually did fairly well. Great defense again, few blocks. A lot of the guys oohing and ahhing because one of the guys just got blocked by a girl. Time for a quick break to introduce you to today's video sponsor, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community for creatives with thousands of classes to help you take the next step in your creative journey. Classes such as photography, graphic design, and marketing. I recently took the class, Social Media Stardom, Making the Most of Instagram. taught by Olympian Lolo Jones, so I could learn how to improve my brand collaborations on Instagram. I was able to learn how to improve my engagement and growth so I can better market myself to those different brands. As you can see, the site is easy to navigate. You can select your creative interests, take the classes at your own pace, and there are no ads, so you can truly focus on learning. They're always adding new classes as well, so you can constantly improve your craft or even learn a new one. And because Skillshare is sponsoring this video, I get to offer to the first 1,000 subscribers who click the link in the description below 1 month free trial of Skillshare, so you can start exploring your creativity today. So I encourage you to check it out. And now, back to the video. About the third or fourth time I went, that's when guys started coming up to me after the game, not asking for my number, but asking for my Instagram. Who doesn't have an Instagram? So I felt obliged that I had to give them my Instagram. And when I got home, I was like, oh crap, now they're all gonna see my before and after pictures, and it may be a problem. Not that I'm ashamed of who I am. I share my journey for a specific purpose of educating those people and hopefully inspiring others. But it ended up causing a problem. A few guys reached out, were very supportive, pretty amazing. A few guys hit on me, and a few guys were really hateful. I ended up getting threats, told if I came back to the court, it wouldn't end well for me. So I stopped going. It's an unfortunate part of being who I am. Safety and being afraid basically for your life at times. Being in an area with just a bunch of grown men who take offense to who you are becomes problematic. So several years went by and I didn't play. And I started going to the beach with my friend out at Venice. And if you know basketball, it's not Rucker Park, but street ball is still legendary out there. And I was watching games. One day in particular, I really felt seen, more seen than I've ever been in my life. Just watching the games. I had 3 different guys walk up to me at some point and say, why aren't you out there? I can tell you hoop, don't you? I was so happy. I was so proud. One guy in particular was Jim Paxson, former NBA player. He was asking why I wasn't on the court. When I brought up the fact there's no other women out there, he said, that doesn't matter. I can tell you could play, because you know what? These guys know me. Next time I'm out here and playing, you're on my team. It's just done deal. I was like, oh, that's awesome. I'm gonna start coming out here more. I'm gonna end up playing on his team. Then COVID happened. Shut everything down again. I had been working in an indoor court on getting my game back together. All the parks in the city took the rims down. So there was no basketball. So again, that delayed everything. The rims went back up. Thought, this is my chance. I'll start getting out there again. Stop being so afraid. But COVID had me more worried than the people. So eventually I got my vaccination, decided to go out to Venice, start watching the games again. They were holding open tryouts for the Venice Basketball League. Wasn't gonna try out yet, a little bit too nervous for that because I hadn't been in condition for that. But I get out there and watching the games, just spinning the basketball, dribbling it on the sideline. Somebody came up and started a conversation with me. Happened to be the guy who runs the league. He said, hey, when are you gonna make your debut? Why aren't you out here on the tryout? So I explained things to him a little bit. He said, you know what? Next year, has to happen. A few weeks later, he DM'd me on Instagram, actually asked me to come out and make my debut. Invited me to a game. Every team has 1 to 2 women on the team. So I thought, this is amazing. This is my opportunity. Maybe I'll get one of those awesome nicknames on the court. So I went. Had a wonderful experience. I did get injured. It's what I get for being almost 40 years old, playing with a bunch of 20-year-old, basically men that are faster, stronger, quicker, more athletic. So I say stronger. Ended up getting a forearm straight to my throat, so I wasn't able to talk for 2 weeks. Severely rolled my ankle again. So all that to say, WNBA probably isn't going to happen. I'm not Sue Bird. I'm not Diana Taurasi. I don't have their skill level anyways. I'm not even trying to compare myself to them, but they're 40 and they play like they're 20. My body's just not in condition for that. Probably never will be. but that doesn't mean I'm giving up on the dream. May not make the WNBA, but if I can create conversation that opens the doors for the next generation, that's what I want to do. If I can play in some other leagues, the Venice Basketball League, Basketball Beauties League, that's my hope. I've reached out. A lot of places won't reach back when I ask them about trans athletes, but I'm not going to stop. This is what I love. This is what I do. So thank you guys so much for watching and being on this journey with me. If you have questions, send them my way. I really want to hear from you guys. Side note, quickly, because I get injured all the time, I'm kind of curious what my body may need to help with that. More potassium, magnesium. Can't wait to hear from you guys. Thank y'all so much for following and all the support. Love y'all. Talk to y'all soon. Bye.